وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما وارزقني فهما. وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما وارزقني فهما. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear listeners, fellow Muslims, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Welcome once again to your weekly program, Islamic Reminders. Islamic Reminders, a weekly radio program that comes to you every Thursday at this time from Gunjur Radio Janekoto FM. Prepared and presented to you by your brother in Islam, Ibrahim Saidi. In Islamic Reminders, because we highlight and explore the core values and the basic principles and teachings and norms of Islam and practices with the good intention and the noble view of fulfilling the commandments of our Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, "Ballighu anni walau bi'aya." Deliver this good news, this message from me, the message of Islam, even if it is one verse of the Quran that you know. Yes. Then Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, the continuation of the mission of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam is through his ummah, is through believers, is through scholars amongst Muslims, and it's through the students of Islam, the students of the Sharia, the students of the noble deen, seeking knowledge and disseminating the little that we have acquired to the rest of believers, so that we all, at all times, go back to that original, clean, pristine, and pure teachings of the noble Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, fulfilling the very purpose of our creation, the reminder of which was the essential and the core message of all the prophets and messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thus the prophetic way. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah declared in the glorious, inimitable Quran al-Kareem that I have not created the jinn and human beings for any other purpose but to worship me alone. Therein lies our freedom. Therein lies our happiness and salvation. Therein indeed we find the very nature in which we have been created and the very purpose for which we have been created. We apologize again, since, as we all know, man proposes and Allah disposes. We were not able to bring you the program last week for reasons beyond our control. But that was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will. So that we come to you today, this Thursday, after having entered, by the grace of Allah, in a new Islamic year, 12 months having passed, and we are again in the month of Muharram, the first of which was, as Allah willed, last Saturday. And thus we have the very important day of Ashura, this coming Monday, the 8th of August. Muharram, however, whenever it comes, the first thing that it reminds us of is the noble and the landmark event of the Hijrah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his Sahaba from Makkah al-Mukarramah to al-Madinah al-Munawwarah. Muhajirin initially, there were about 40 of them. Rasulullah alayhi salatu salam, if I am not mistaken in the historical records, arrived in Medina from Mecca after the vast majority of his Sahaba had already migrated at his command and orders. He arrived in Medina actually in the month of Rabi' al-Awwal, Monday, 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal, the same day that he came into this world, his noble birth took place, and the same day that he would come to depart from this world, Monday the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal. However, since this was historically the very beginning of the Islamic era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he established an independent, self-governing entity in Medina, away from oppression and torture in Mecca. The Sahaba, Ridwanullah alayhim ajma'in, during the time of Sayyidina Umar as the Khalifa of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, came to a consensus at the suggestion of Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib, karramallahu wajha, that the dating system in Islam would begin from the Hijrah, Muharram being the first month of the year. Thus, it was a landmark event. But the Hijrah also teaches us many things, many things, amongst the most important of which is indeed migration. Physical migration from one place to another is a human right. Even as I speak, is a human right. And especially to save one's life and to gain freedom. But for whatever purpose, is a human right. The Muslims in Medina, in Mecca, were under an oppressive system led by disbelievers in Islam. Thus they had no freedom of religion, no freedom of conscience. And thus Allah gave them the permission to leave Mecca. First it was to Abyssinia, actually, in Africa, Ethiopia nowadays. And secondly, when Rasulullah ﷺ himself joined in, it was to Madinah al-Munawwarah. Yes, it was to Madinah al-Munawwarah. In both places, Muslims enjoyed freedom of conscience and religious freedom. Thus, Islam is a religion that guarantees everyone freedom of conscience, whether one believes in Islam or not. This is the basic principal teaching, and this was the practice of Rasulullah alayhi salatu salam and the Khulafa al-Rashidun and all genuine Muslims up till today. Allah says, He has given guidance. فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنُ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whoever wishes, let them believe, and whoever wishes, let them disbelieve. Please. It is Allah who will ultimately judge. The Hijrah, however, as Rasulullah ﷺ taught and practiced and showed us, when one migrates from one place to another for whatever reason, for whatever purpose, it must be done through proper channels and proper means. It must be legal. For his Sahaba, when they went to Abyssinia at his advice and direction, they did not stay there until they received the permission and clearance of the king and Najashi. And when the great migration to Medina was about to take place, it did not happen except after the people of Medina met Rasulullah alayhi salatu salam in secret in Mecca during pilgrimages in those days, and invited him and his followers in Mecca to move to Medina. Thus the permission legally of the people to whom you are migrating is a requirement. Yes. Thus,